Hi, everyone, and welcome back. I'm Gerald Ochoa, co owner and founder of Helping Hands Credit Cures. We've got some exciting information to bring to you today. And in my last video, I let you know that there was a surefire way to change your financial situation if you're dealing with a poor credit rating and a stressed out life. I told you that there was a way to get your phone to stop ringing from debt collectors, a way to stop you and your family members from being harassed, even at your job sometimes, a way for your mailbox to stop getting jammed, filled with debt collection letters. If you're sick of it, trust me, I can relate. I'd like to thank you and welcome you for taking the time to view this life-changing presentation. You're now about to hear the best solution possible to your situation. Let's get right to it and get some legal stuff out of the way. Please be advised that this document and all essential multi-services network Helping Hands Credit Cures and Credit Shield materials to include ebooks, manuals, videos, and any other types of information disseminated to any potential client by us relating to or regarding our credit and debt invalidation program may not be construed in any way, shape, or form to be the giving of legal, financial, or any type of professional advice and is meant strictly to inform and entertain the reader. So please use common sense and good judgment. We advise that you make good use of this information contained within and change your financial circumstances. Right now, I would like to offer you an invitation to share this information. Okay, so I am a consumer just like you who has had to deal with his fair share of credit issues in the past. So, as esteemed and very much appreciated fellow consumers, we want to just let you know that this presentation, our debt invalidation ebook, and all related materials are copyrighted by Essential Multi-Services Network and Credit Shield. However, we highly recommend that you share all parts of this material, and we are informing you that all parts of this presentation may be copied but not changed in any format, sold, or used in any way other than what it was intended for. This course has been offered to you freely, so as a potential client, we want you to freely share this material with as many people as possible. People who are currently struggling with serious debt issues. So please do share and distribute this information any way that you can to your friends and family members who may want to read it. Give them our web link and our contact information, which will be at the end of this presentation, and tell them to contact us as well so we can get them a copy as soon as possible. Thank you very much. Okay, so if you're watching this video, you have already begun taking some positive steps to change your financial situation and your future for good. Again, I'm Gerald Ochoa, and on behalf of everyone at Essential Multi-Services Network, Helping Hands Credit Cures and Credit Shield, we would like to welcome you to our credit restoring, life-changing debt invalidation program. We truly believe that this course will fundamentally change the way that you view the credit reporting industry and the way that collectors do their bidding to try to collect dead debt from you. All right, once you begin implementing this material, I promise that it will be the best personal learning investment that you have ever made, because this involves a fundamental part of our everyday life once we come of age and become adults. Let's face it, everything you try to do regarding your quality of life as an adult revolves around credit in one way or another, whether we like it or not. We're talking about everything from renting a car to reserving a hotel room, booking airline tickets, getting an education, even buying your first home or car, and getting furniture. In some cases, you can't even get a job in certain industries if you have bad credit. That's right, folks. Like it or not, our world revolves around credit, particularly good credit. That's why I came up with this course, to show and inform the average person who is suffering from any type of credit crisis how to effectively use the very laws which were created to protect you as the consumer, to begin reestablishing your credit right away with a real no hype system that actually works. And we have the testimonial letters right from the credit bureaus to prove it. So, congratulations on finally getting yourself educated about the blatantly fraudulent credit system that attempts to govern our financial lives. As a citizen and a consumer trying to establish and build their credit in this country, being taken advantage of by whatever financial entity that chooses to do so is never acceptable, nor is it ever pleasant. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about us as we move forward. Back in 2008, I started a company called Helping Hands Property Solutions. and I began investigating what we like to call around here the bank cartels. When myself and Sarah Klotch, the founder of Credit Shield, first learned of the egregious amount of fraud that was being committed against the American homeowner, we took action and began vetting out the fraud and helping people save their homes from these predatory lenders. We soon figured out that the same laws which apply to defending a mortgage note also apply to all forms of credit and debt collection. And I followed that up with the creation of Helping Hands Credit Cures, which is owned by my umbrella company, Essential Multi-Services Network. For info, you can log on to our webpage at the end of this presentation. So today, these same lenders and creditors continue to commit overwhelming amounts of fraud against the American consumer through the issuing of credit backed by credit default swap insurances, which cover their losses when you default, making the debt invalid or dead, and also their felonious, intimidating debt collection practices of trying to collect on this dead credit card debt, student loans, car loans, and mortgage notes. But we figured out all their tricks, and we have put all the information that you're going to need to defend yourself in this manual. Helping Hands Credit Cures and Credit Shield collaborate together as one credit defense company that was established to aid you in getting your credit life revived and to champion the effort of making these gangsters with ties on stop harassing you. So as my pastor likes to say, put on your seatbelt because you're about to read some eye-opening information that will change your credit situation forever. So now that we know who we're dealing with, the question is, who will champion the cause to defend the people and educate the average consumer of their rights in order to survive the onslaught of debt collectors? Well, Helping Hands Credit Cures and Credit Shield has elected to do so. American consumers need to know when to act and what debt collector mail to respond to and how, whether or not they should answer their phones, and what to say if they do. Not knowing the answers to these questions can affect their credit rating in a way that can take years to reverse. So we pride ourselves in our businesses as the defenders for the truth and for justice at a time when so many are confused and few can find the truth about debt collection, starting with who is the real creditor that is calling my number constantly? Do they really own my debt? Do they have the right to call my home and harass me for unpaid debt? How many times can they call me in a day, in a week, in an hour? Can they call my family members and my job? Well, we're going to get to the bottom of all these questions and answer all of them for you moving forward. Finally, you are going to find out the truth about all of this debt collection stuff once and for all. Although all debt cannot be expunged or erased without consequences, there is a level of legal credit debt collection protocol that must be followed in order to collect as a creditor properly. Because of the sensitivity and the effect of credit collection consequences, there are measures that are built into our legal system that are in place to be followed for your protection. Most of these collectors, however, do not know or simply don't care what these legal measures are, and unfortunately, neither does the consumer, and so most people buckle at the first level of intimidation and scare tactics that collections organizations use against you. Wrongful procedures can be the difference between collecting a debt and never being able to revisit a debtor for reasons of procedural violation. And as you read further, you will find out how costly this can become for them. Okay, so now I want to share with you the reason why our program is so successful compared to everything else that's out there. Let me share with you a little consumer alert. The Helping Hands Credit Cures and Credit Shield system is not a debt settlement, modification, or negotiation service. Helping Hands Credit Cures and Credit Shield demand and require debt collectors to prove that the debt that they're asking you to pay is 100% legal, collectible, valid, and verified, or you will pay nothing. I know that many of you watching this video right now are currently dealing with unpaid private student loans, credit cards, unpaid medical accounts, and many other types of debt. And you're being harassed by debt collectors daily, or you feel like you might have been charged excessive interest and fees on an outstanding debt. Some of you have defaulted on loans and received a collection notice. If you're facing any of these situations, we will help you become debt-free. Our system works because we invoke all the federal laws and statutes found in the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, among 8 other consumer rights laws which protect you from third-party debt collectors, fraudulent debt collection practices, and violations of your consumer rights. Okay, so let's talk about forensic credit audits. The process by which we aggressively attack these creditors and toxic lenders is called debt invalidation. So the question that most people are asking themselves at this point is, why does your debt invalidation system actually work better than all the other tactics that other companies use to help reestablish your credit? Can you really help me? And if so, how? Well, our procedure requests a forensic audit, or rather the verified legal proof of the account which collectors are trying to make you pay. We require your collector to provide validation, verification, and proof of their legal authority to collect from you. Recently, over 10,000 debt cases were dismissed in the state of Maryland due to debt collectors not being licensed and not having the authority to collect. Due to legal technicalities and the fraud by some of these debt collectors, or a lack of records from the original creditor, debt collectors are most often unable to legally validate and collect the debt by law, especially when challenged. But most consumers are unaware of this fact. So now, who's chasing who? Because we use a variety of laws to demand the full verification of the source, the validity, and the legal authority of the debt collector to pursue you. Because of that, they often cease collection. And should they not cease collection or file a suit, our procedural paperwork can be used as a defense, providing the debt was not validated, and we can now begin pursuing them for punitive damages and fraud against you. Which means that now, instead of them pursuing you, you are, or rather we are, now filing a claim against them, backed by the very laws which they claim to be calling on you, which were created to protect you, not them. So why hire Helping Hands Credit Cures and Credit Shield? Let me make you a personal guarantee. When you hire Helping Hands Credit Cures and Credit Shield, you can expect the harassing phone calls received by you and your friends or family members to stop, your credit rating restored, and possibly even get paid as well. Now, allow me to elaborate more on the reasons why our system actually works. Simply put, we utilize multiple laws to make the debt collectors prove they are authorized to collect, that the debt originated in lawful compliance with all federal laws, state laws, and regulations, including but not limited to the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the Truth in Lending Act, the Credit Card Act of 2009, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, the Privacy Act of 1974. Our paperwork has muscle because the debt collector can be charged with monetary damages if they continue collection without providing all of the proof required to verify the debt in full. The laws we use provide penalties and fines for noncompliance or failure to answer the notice and the demand for verification of debt within 30 days of the debt collector's receipt of the paperwork related to your account. Now, if you're watching this video, that means you watched my last video where I told you that I would be sharing some information that these debt collectors really didn't want you to know. So here it is. Our system works because we utilize a notary to send out your paperwork. You see, once you have an authorized representative overseeing your account, the debt collector may not contact you or others again. Once they receive a cease and desist order, which we file on your behalf, if you do not have a notary sending your documents, a collector may call you at your home or work, as well as calling other people to get your contact information. Here's tip number 2 they don't want you to know. The FDCPA allows for $1,000 worth of damage payments paid to you every time they violate the law by continuing to make payment demands of you without having verified the debt. The law states that communicating or threatening to communicate to any person credit information which is known or which should be known to be false, including the failure to communicate that a disputed debt is disputed, is a violation of the federal statute 1692E. Black's Law Dictionary defines verification of a debt as follows: the confirmation of correctness, truth, or authenticity by affidavit, oath, or deposition. Affidavit of truth, of matter stated and object of verification is to assure good faith in averments of statements of party. Lastly, our aggressive paperwork is sent directly to a fiduciary of the debt collection company whom we hold personally liable for the claims being made against you. Tip number 3. It is also illegal for the debt collector to report the debt is not paid when it is in fact under dispute. The two are very different things. Only after they prove the debt through verification can they report that the debt is unpaid. Tip number 4. The debt collector must respond in a timely manner to the authorized representative through the notary. If they fail to return all the demanded proof, which is almost always the case, then a notice of non-response, a notice of default, and an affidavit in support of non-response is sent by certified mail, providing the collector with a limited additional time to respond. After a short period of time expires for their second chance to send the required proof of verification, validation, and authority to collect, which they almost never do, the matter at this point is almost always resolved. In the event that the collector continues making demands or files a suit against you, the notarized record of the demands and non-response, called a commercial record, can be used as your defense that the debt was not validated. We will also sue them back in a counterclaim for a violation of the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, which states in part at 15 U.S.C. Here's tip number 5. If the consumer notifies the debt collector in writing that the debt or any portion thereof is being disputed, or that the consumer requests the name and address of the original creditor, the debt collector shall cease collection of the debt or any disputed portion thereof until the debt collector obtains verification of the debt or a copy of a judgment, or the name and address of the original creditor, and a copy of such verification or judgment is mailed to the consumer by the debt collector. The verification described above is only one part of what we demand of that debt collector. There is more in the FDCPA as well as the other laws which we use in the paperwork, such as the Federal Truth in Lending Act and the Fair Credit Billing Act, which we will include to ensure not only the verification but also the validation and the authority to collect by your debt collector. Okay, so let's recap real quick. Why is our system better than everything else out there? Well, our system invokes the laws and the statutes found in the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act and other laws to protect consumers against third-party debt collection agencies, fraudulent debt collection practices, and the violations of your consumer rights. Our procedure requests a forensic audit from the collector, and we start with a demand to your collector to provide validation, verification, and proof of their legal authority to collect the debt against you, utilizing various laws pertaining to debt collection, lending, and billing practices. Credit Shield sends your collector a demand to cease collection activities until such time as they have verified or validated and proved their authority. Some of what we require as part of this process includes a fully completed debt collector disclosure statement signed under penalty of perjury, proof of how they got the debt to collect, whether they bought it, whether they got it through assumption, novation, etc., the history of the debt. Was it charged off? Was it paid off by insurance? Also, they must provide the original accounting and contracts from the original creditor upon which the amount owed is based, and more. And finally, your demand for verification, validation, and authority to collect is sent via certified mail by a notary public from your authorized representative, which is us. Okay, so we're coming to a close here, but before we do, we want you to know that we are based on the belief that our customers' financial and credit needs are of the utmost importance. We understand that fraudulent practices in the financial industry take place and that debt collectors violate laws in order to collect money from you. In fact, the purpose of the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, as worded in the Act, states, there is abundant evidence of the use of abusive, deceptive, and unfair debt collection practices by many debt collectors. Abusive debt collection practices contribute to the number of personal bankruptcies, to marital instability, to the loss of jobs, and to the invasions of individual privacy. Some collection agents threaten or use intimidation tactics to make you send them money, and this is illegal. Some collectors increase rates without proper notification under the new Credit Card Act of 2009, aka the credit card holder's bill of rights, this is illegal. Collections agents are usually on commission, so if you do send them money without first requiring them to verify the debt, you're basically providing that agent with a bonus in their paycheck for that week. Our commitment to you. We want you to know that our entire team is committed to protecting your rights, meeting your needs, and performing more effectively than any other type of debt resolution in the market today. We are not settling your debt for less money. We're not negotiating or modifying your loan. Instead, we audit the account by requiring and demanding the debt collector to prove that they have lived up to all of the laws required to legally proceed with collection. We are dedicated to resolving unsecured debt, no matter the balance. All right, let's talk about some frequently asked questions. Okay, so you've made it through this video. And in case you have questions, which I'm sure that you do, questions like, how do I get started in this program? If I take advantage of your program, is there a lot of work for me to do? How long does the debt invalidation process take? What if I already have judgments against me? Will this still protect me? Are there any other tips that these toxic debt collection companies don't want me to know? And many other questions that you may be wondering about in this process. Well, we have the answers to them all for you, okay? Now, if you stuck around to watch this entire presentation, you're either a person who is struggling with debt issues and you want to pursue these debt collectors and implement all the information that you have received here and end this debt torment once and for all, or you know someone who does. Now that you have all this info and knowledge, remember that knowledge is only potential power. Now you have to take the steps using this information that will set your credit rating free and allow you to fulfill some of your financial dreams. So I'd like to present you with two options that you can begin taking advantage of immediately. Option one is my debt invalidation ebook. I know that this is a lot of information to absorb in such a small amount of time. That's why I would like to offer you a chance to get my debt invalidation ebook at no cost to you. If you would like a copy of all the information I just shared with you, absolutely free, you can click on the free ebook icon on the bottom of the webpage below this video on the left-hand side of the page. That will take you to the ebook and you can download it there for free. You simply right-click on the ebook icon to download the debt invalidation ebook manual. Again, this ebook contains all of the information that was shared here today, plus much, much more. And it's absolutely free. So please take advantage of it. Option two is you can become an essential multi-services client and take advantage of the Helping Hands Credit Cures and Credit Shield debt invalidation program, where we do all the work for you, starting right now. If you call me at 806-680-3676, we will get to work for you right away. Again, that's 806-680-3676. Or you can click on the Start Now button on the bottom of the screen and sign up for our services right away. If you call and we are busy, please leave your name, number, and one of our agents will get back to you within 15 minutes of your call. So again, that's 806-680-3676, or simply click on the Start Now button. So folks, I am Gerald Ochoa, and on behalf of the entire team at Essential Multi-Services Network, Helping Hands Credit Cures and Credit Shield, we want to thank you for taking the time to review our debt invalidation presentation. We hope that you have acquired some knowledge through this material, which will enhance your financial future, and we would highly recommend passing it forward as much as possible. Congratulations on taking the first step towards restoring your financial future forever. Make sure to click on the Get Started button right away. Stay tuned to my follow-up video on how to become a VIP client with Essential Multi-Services Network and how you can let us handle all of your debt invalidation and credit restoration needs worry-free. I leave you with this thought. Take this information and run with it. The presentation was created to give you the firepower you need to take immediate action and straighten out all of your credit needs. Thank you. Good luck and God bless.